Hey guys, it's Kimberly. Welcome back to the Illumin Guru and happy spring. It's official. It's today. We just passed the time of the spring equinox. So I wanted to say happy spring to all of you by giving you a special offer. I posted on Facebook today and also sent an email out to my subscribers. So if you're not there, please sign up or like us on social media. But if you didn't hear, I'm taking 20% off of all sessions over the next week. And I do that periodically every season. I usually put something up, some incentive up. And that's just to say thank you to my current clients and also just to help those of you who maybe want to work with me and have been thinking about it. And that'll give you the extra incentive to do so. So that is all you have to do is just put 20 off in the booking notes. And again, that's on any session or reading. So you can book a session by going to theilluminguru.com. And if you want to take part in the March 25th workshop I'm doing, it's at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a Sunday. It's this Sunday. And it's a Meet Your Spirit Guide Team workshop. So this is, we're going to be talking about who comprises your Spirit Guide team. What is that? What does that mean in relation to your angels and your animal guides, and who are your spirit guides? How do they work with you? How do they communicate with you? Then we're going to go into a guided meditation, and this will be done via teleconference. And so you'll go into a guided meditation, and we'll go in and we'll have you meet each guide, and you'll get to know them each intimately and how they're working with you. And after that portion is over, we'll go ahead and we'll record. You'll get a worksheet packet, so you'll be able to record your discoveries, and we'll answer your questions regarding your discoveries, and we'll get to share with the group. So it's going to be a great workshop. I hope that you will join us. Some of you have expressed interest in this particular topic, so please sign up if that has been you in the past. I hope the date and time works for you. All right, so I was very guided to post this video today. One, we've got a lot of contradictory energy going on right now with just like this incoming spring equinox. Mercury's going into retrograde. Let's see, we're going into this Aries energy, and so things are like being held back. Things are thrusting forward in some aspects, or we're thrusting forward, but other things are feeling held back. And so there seems to be a lot of contradictory energy going on right now, and it's going to be like that for the next few weeks, so hang tight, okay? And when I say that, I mean, you probably watched my March forecast already, right? So you probably watched the spring equinox reading I did about a week ago, and the one before that for March. And I did tell you that Mercury retrograde is not going to be a time to like make decisions, and especially with twin flames, you're going to have communication, like not snafus, but they're showing me like holdbacks, like where the right things aren't being expressed, the truth isn't being expressed. It's going to be even more magnified, though, that confusion during this period. So not the time to be taking action on that stuff, but I do see that many are getting divine inspiration. So to take action on their creative projects, this spring energy, this is the time of rebirth, renewal. This is when creativity is heightened. Plus, we're going into a period where we're going to have an Aries new moon. We're feeling that already, and that fire energy is going to make us like really want to go after something, like put it out there quickly. And but then there's going to be like holdbacks or delays or like other things we have to do. So don't get discouraged. And if you feel yourself rushing or racing to the finish line, just use that fire to keep incubating what you're doing. Okay? Does that make sense? So just keep incubating, like how a mother hen would sit on her egg. They're saying like just keep incubating it, keep feeding it, keep nurturing it, keep doing it like a little bit longer behind the scenes, because come mid-April, whatever you're doing, you're going to be ready to just thrust it out there. And you may have already started to do that, but it's really going to pick up in mid-April, okay? So for those of you that are pushing a venture out there or getting something new off the ground, mid-April is the time to ignite it, okay? So what you're doing behind the scenes now, what you're doing to build that, don't get discouraged if it's like slow to amp up or, because we're in a retrograde period. So this is This is like, it's going to be touch and go, they're saying. And with twin flame communication, like I said, same thing. Not snafus, but more like holding back. We're seeing some, resurfacing of runner-chaser dynamics. It's so that we can learn how to detach. And so the reason why I call this video Unconnected Connection, is because we're going to dig into that topic, okay? So I'm not going to pull any cards. I don't need to do that again. We've got the energy right through the equinox, and I'll probably, like I said, come back for another full energy update at the end of the month, right? Because then we'll have full moon in Libra, and then in April we'll have the new moon in Aries. So, but right now we are trying to get our balance here with everything. Things are moving forward. Things are being held back. You know, things are like if things feel bright, then there's a snowstorm, right? Like this is how it's been. It feels like spring's coming, then it's like winter, or like, you know, you feel like you're making progress with your twin, then you feel like you're taking 10 steps back. So there's this lot of like contradictory energy, and we're trying to figure out how to balance. So this is the topic that I was shown to hone in on for you guys, okay? Because there's so many aspects of finding balance and letting go, but the number one thing that I get asked by my clients is, how do I surrender? What does it mean to hold space? And like, what does that mean? And how do you stop chasing? And how do you, stop ego running and all of that? And so, one of the biggest pieces of this is trusting. And so without the trust, we cannot efficiently, effectively let go, meaning surrender, and maintain a vibration of unconditional love. We may feel a vibration of unconditional love. We may slip into it. We may get a taste of it, but we're not able to effectively maintain it or hold that vibration steady. And the reason why, the number one reason why, is because we're not in a state of trust. Okay, so if we go underneath that, that means if you're not in trust, then you're in fear. Okay, so think of it like that. Think about, okay, where have I not been trusting in my life? Where have I been, doubting, second guessing, sending out mixed vibrational signals to the universe, right? Saying like, I want my twin flame and I to be together. But then in the back of your mind, you're going, oh, it's hopeless. He's never going to change, or whatever that is. Okay, so they're saying you've got to clean up your vibration, first of all. Okay, because when you have all this contradictory energy going on from within, right? I just talked about all the contradictions happening like in the energy around us, but when you have that all going on within, you've got to clean it up. So really get honest with yourself about where you've been sending out one signal, but then going in a different direction or expecting something different to happen. So you're saying, I want to be together, but, I'll just go over here and find somebody else. Or that'll be better. They'll treat me better. Or I want to have more communication with my twin. Oh, but he's never going to change, or she's never going to change. Okay, so you see how we do this. So like, it may be so subtle that you don't even realize that you're doing it, where you have this chatter in the back of your mind. So those little voices that are naysaying voices, like, no, that's never going to happen. You deserve someone better. This isn't, good enough for you, or you need to leave this, or why, he's never going to change. Whatever that is, that chatter is the point of vibration. That's an energetic point of attraction. And so you will further repel your twin from those thoughts, from those feelings. Okay. You're not actually walking in alignment with that thing that you're saying that you want, which is like the union, the coming together, the love, right? So again, that stuff is from fear. So you have to dig into that. And so we do that in my intensive program, which I am turning into an online course, by the way. So if any of you have interest in the intensive program online course, while I'm building that, send me your email, get on my email list, because I'll be making announcements when that's up and ready to go. Some of you have already asked me for the next round of that, but I'm not sure which will come first, the next session or the online course. I'm trying to get it up quickly for you guys. the online course will be accessible to everyone. But in that course, what I'm saying is that we examine and we work through all the layers of negativity, all the root causes of this fear-based thinking, right? Like from our ancestral patterning and societal patterning and our past life traumas, and we go in and we clear it all out, and our limiting beliefs and our fear-based thinking and all of that, how we shift beliefs. And then we go into like where we're holding negativity with our twin flame and how we clear that. And so all of those things are contributing to you and your twin flame being apart, or, maintaining a separation, which most of you don't say you want, but at some level you could be vibrating something else. So the number one thing I'm going to tell you is, before we can get to the trust piece and how you get into a state of trust, you've got to get out of fear. And you've got to clean up the vibration. Because if you look at it vibrationally, energetically, you're saying, I trust. Oh, I see us. I can see us getting married. I can see our spiritual union. I feel us together. I feel us working on our mission together. I hear that all the time. And then I also hear at the same time, or in the same breath, or in the same session, or whatever time I'm spending with you guys, then you also say, oh, but should I just give up? And like, oh, he's never going to change. And well, why am I doing all the work? And so there's always this sort of, wherever we hold that separation, we're also holding judgment, right? We're holding judgment. We're holding blame. We're not in a state of love when we're in separation. Okay. And I'm talking about separation from oneness, from the feeling of love. Okay. So Abraham Hicks would say, if you want to be happy, you've got to get happy first, right? If you want to pull happiness in, you got to get happy first. And so if you're in a sad state or really depressed or whatever, you're going to go, well, how do I get happy first to pull the happiness in? Right. And so it's the same thing with this twin flame dynamic. It's like, if you want to have love from your twin flame, you want to be in a state of love and maintain that, you've got to get into a state of love. And I'm talking about self-love. I'm talking about unconditional love for yourself. Okay. And that's where it starts, because that's how you can start vibrating this feeling of love all the time. And it does take a long time for some of us to process all those different layers that I talked about that we do in my intensive program, like the ancestral stuff. And, you might get pieces of it that get revealed to you. And then 6 months later, you get new information. And so, your subconscious mind is going to reveal to you what you need to know at the time. And it's going to give it to you in doses and in pieces. And so some of you love to sing the story of, oh, but I've already done that, but I've already done this, but I've worked on this for so long. And, you guys got to let go of that story. You've just got to let go of the story. Your process of healing is an ongoing process. So understand that in an awakening journey and an ascension journey, this is going to be continual, this process of like peeling back the layers. But getting to the place, however, but that doesn't mean that you can't get to a place of like real happiness and joy. Because even as you're peeling back the layers, right, when you get yourself into a vibration of love and abundance and positivity and feeling good, and you really are practically learning how to clear out the negative thought patterns, the negative fear-based beliefs, then you're able to maintain a steadier vibration that's emitting the signal of like love, positivity, and where you're at peace with yourself, right? And so to be in that state of trust, you've got to be in your power, but we can't be in our power from our wounds. So we've got to clear at that level. And so for those of you who haven't gone and done, so I know my audience is so vast, and I know that I hear from some of you, and some of you are my ongoing clients. And so, but I'm sure that these videos reach way beyond all of you that I've ever spoken to. And so there are some of you watching this that are just finding the channel, and there's some of you watching this that are new on your journey. And so I just want to tell you that I work with twin flames to help you clear out. I'm a soul coach, so I help you work at the deepest level to clear out the muck, the energetic blocks, the clutter, to help you clean up your vibration, to help you work through the things that maybe you haven't wanted to go to. Because in session, we just cut right to them, right? We cut right to it. And I don't bullshit you. I don't do foofy stuff. And I'm always going to direct you to the place where your soul is asking to go. And I'm always completely forthright with my clients about that. Sometimes you think you want to go over here, and I go, wait a minute, let's dig in over here. And those of you that are my clients, you know that. But even if your ego wants to fight a little bit, usually we meet on common ground, and what ends up happening is big boulders get moved out of the way, right? Because sometimes the stuff that's standing in our way, they're the things that we kind of know are there. They're like lurking, but we don't want to go there. So we put up something so that we don't see them, or we reroute it, or we stay hooked on the fear-based belief, so that we stay in that state. We hold ourselves in a low vibrational state. We've got Stella making a cameo appearance. Stella, why don't you come say hello to everyone, since they haven't seen you in a very long time. Come say hello. Hello. Oh, don't be afraid. It's just you. Say hi. I'm coming to give you guys lots of good energy. Yeah. Say hi, Bubba. Yeah. She looks very thrilled. She's saying, happy spring, everybody. So she may cross the computer a few times. So here she comes. So we're talking about really just, at least getting really honest about where our blocks are, where our fear-based thinking is, where the negativity is. And then if you don't know how to clear it out on your own, and you don't want to come to me, find another healer. Find someone else who is going to, sorry about that, guys. Find someone else who is going to be able to help you get to the bottom of some of this, to help you at least align energetically. Once you're aligned energetically, then you can get into a state of trust. In that state of trust, you're going to feel more open. You're gonna know that the ways to reroute yourself. You're going to have the tools in your toolbox to, when those negative thoughts come in, to reroute yourself over to better feeling thoughts. It's an art of practice. Okay, first you got to dig way in and clear out the deeper stuff. And then once you have that cleared, then you begin a process of integration, which is all about self-love, which is all about feeling good and claiming your power and practicing rerouting yourself, right? But you've got to become hyper aware of those negative thought patterns and those fear-based beliefs, where they stem from and why. Because it's that awareness that actually is like 80% of the healing, believe it or not. And just bringing it forth will help you be able to have so much more control over your emotions and your thoughts. And in that way, when you have that type of control, when you're able to reroute yourself to better feeling thoughts, when you're able to, when that fear-based thought goes zooming in, right? It's like, let's just say it comes in from left field even, right? Just sneaks up on you, which I always hear people say. You'll have the tools in your toolbox to diffuse it and just let it go, and then reroute yourself to focus on something positive. And that's how you'll be able to maintain a very high vibration, or at least a higher vibration than this roller coaster dip thing that we do. So most twin flames or most on the ascension journey, or in this twin flame process, they're getting to the high vibrational places, but they're not maintaining it. So most of you are going to identify with this when I say that you come down, you have like the real lows. And there's Stella's with us again. She just wants to be part of this video. So there's like these lows and these dips, and then you get there again, and then you're like, oh, but why can't I stay there? Like, oh, I had that day where I felt surrendered, but I can't stay there. So part of actually, it's not part. It's the actual like whole recipe for being in a state of trust is getting out of the fear. And in order to do that, as I just said, we've got to go in and clear all those layers and do our integrative work and get the tools in our toolbox so we know how to reroute ourselves. Okay, So once we are able to reroute ourselves, right, we've got ourselves in a high vibration. Even when a fearful thought comes in or a negative thought comes in, we're able to diffuse it. We're getting good at this. We're practicing this, right? We're holding our vibration steady. In fact, everything's feeling more joyful. Things are flowing, right? There's more abundance. Things are good. Oh, things are like, or even you can see it in your twin flame connection. Okay, he's coming towards you. She's coming towards you. There's more communication. There's less pulling away. You're going to see this happen as you get into this state. And this is where you can truly get into surrender. So unconnected connection is about, so many of you wonder, like, well, how can you be in connection with someone? Like, how can you be connected? But then talk about like cutting the cords. Oh my God, there is so much confusion about cutting the cords. Let me just clear it up for you. Cutting the cords means that you're cutting the negative lines of energy. You're not cutting away connection. You're cutting away the negative lines of energy. And if you need a good cord cutting ceremony or practice, email me, because I can detail one for you in an email and send it to you. It's pretty easy to do, and it is helpful to use energy clearing tools, even with your twin flames, so that you can cut away any residual negativity while you're doing your work. You've got to do it with the conscious work. Just doing energy work doesn't work, okay? You've got to dig into your subconscious and pull shit out, okay? You've got to get to the bottom of like your sandbox, right? If you're like your sand pail, I always think of like a beach pail filled with sand. You got to get to the bottom. You got to find all those seashells and those little hermit crabs at the bottom. You cannot just do the stuff on the surface and just do the energy work and just think, oh, I'll be healed. Nope, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. I'm not going to lie to you. So, but doing the energy work along with, digging in deeper, that's going to help you. So, doing that type of energy work, when you're doing, let's say, like I said, cord cutting, you're only cutting away the negative lines of energy. You're only helping, you're only assisting. Any places where we have that 3D attachment, like that, those things that we say, oh, they're gripping us. Oh, I can feel it here. I feel it in my gut. Or when he leaves me, or when she runs, I feel it. Yes, you feel it because you are energetically hooked into one another. And so clearing those lines of energy just opens up the purity of the connection. That means that just the soul love, the higher self connection can live, can breathe, right? It's where we put our 3D energetic hooks into things, usually through negative lines of attachment. That's like where it's expectation or wanting to have control over someone or needing to manipulate somebody. And it's a two-way street with twin flames. You're doing it as much as your twin flame is, whether you realize it or not, okay? So no one's just the puppet in the twin flame dynamic. And so that can be very effective and helpful. You're never going to cut the connection. The connection is supposed to be unconnected, like unattached in the 3D. Does that make sense? That's why I'm calling this unconnected connection, huh? Because you're not supposed to be attached in the 3D. You don't need to be. And so many of you, I've heard you fully admit to me, I actually felt closer to my twin flame in our separation. And I'll say why. Okay, because I know this myself. It is so true that when you really can get to a place of surrender and a separation, you will feel closer to your twin flame in the non-physical communication. Okay, so when I ask my clients why, they typically say, well, because it forced me, like once I got past the pain, it forced me into a state of trust. And so what they're essentially saying is, oh, I went into the 5D and started trusting all the signs and synchronicities. In fact, I was hearing them louder. In fact, I could feel our soul level communication more because the physical stuff, the fighting, the push-pull, that wasn't clouding because the push-pull and then fighting and back and forth and that whole thing that we do, runner chaser or whatever, it actually creates like a haze or a fuzz metaphorically. And so that can drown out those soul level signs and all of those things that we feel and that we receive when we are really tapped into that higher level connection. So I remember a long time ago, I posted a video when I was in separation and struggling with it. And I was really thinking about, I'm looking at Stella. She's just so funny. I was really thinking about, well, I want to move towards what feels good for me. And at that time, it felt better to not have contact. And it really, truly did. And I found surrender. I ended up finding surrender in that. And so many of you I know do. And if that's what feels good to you, then move towards that. Because honoring the connection does not mean that you need to have physical contact. Does not mean you have to have physical evidence. Does not mean you have to have physical communication. And getting good at the 5D communication, you can do that through 5D meditations. You can do that through just, intentionally connecting with your twin flame, right, from the higher level. And this takes trust. Now, what cracks me up most often, the funniest thing, is when I hear these validations from clients and they're like, yep, and I get all the signs and I totally trust it. And then in the next breath, they'll go, so can you tell me what he's thinking? And I'm like, oh my God, it's so funny. Everybody does this. So the reason why we do this is because we're afraid to stay in that state of trust. And because the old fear-based stuff creeps in, right? We have to keep practicing pushing that out. So I just want you to let you know that if you've got to a point where you're like, I actually feel good in my separation, see if you can go further. See if you can go further into like really not needing any timeline or like physical communication. Because detaching and holding space is simply just being in a state of trust. Or some of you say to me, oh, I got this amazing sign. I know he's thinking of me, or I know she's, thinking of me, and there's such a love between us, and I don't doubt it at all. And then in the next breath, you'll say something contradictory like, oh, but you really, like, so what do you think that means? Like, oh, I got this sign, so what do you think that means? And it's like, oh my God, this cracks me up, you guys. It cracks me up because I can relate to it too. I was there once. But here's the thing. You just have to focus on a state of trust and keep thinking of it in that form. Like, I'm either in fear or I'm in trust. How does it feel when I'm in trust? Start noticing that. Start becoming the observer of yourself. It feels good. I feel like I trust everything. I feel like everything's in perfect alignment for me. Things are flowing my way. Everything feels light. I just know that there's a love there. I don't have to see it, touch it, feel it. I just know it, right? How does it feel when you're in a state of fear? It may sound something like, I don't know if he's ever coming back. I just feel like this has just been such a long journey, and I don't know what to do. And do I need to, go, or should I cut the cords, or should I keep waiting, or what do I do? And so it sounds like that. This is how different it feels, right? And so you'll know the difference. So what you have to do is start becoming the observer. When am I in the state of trust, and when am I in the state of fear? And then start noticing when you do it, because just that awareness is going to help you start to diffuse when you're in the fear beliefs. Then if you want to dig deeper into why you have those fear beliefs, like whether it's past hurts, past traumas, inner child stuff, ancestral stuff, you can reach out to me. We'll work together in session. The sessions are very progressive. We can help you clear that stuff. And then When that's cleared and you got really good at rerouting yourself over to a state of trust, you'll be able to surrender and you'll be able to stay in a state of unconnected connection much easier. The connection will always be there. Always. It's not going to go away if you stop thinking about it, if you stop worrying about it. All that the thoughts and the dwelling and the worry and the attachment to the timeline and the outcome and the expectation, all that does is, like I said, is it creates like a haze around it. So you can't feel the purity of the connection as much, as strong as you could if you got rid of all that stuff and then trusted in it. Then you're going to feel it. You're going to hear it louder for you. Okay? And so the problem is that when I feel like when twins start to hear it louder, then some old programming sets in, right? And that sets in so that you can clear it. And like I said, I laugh when it sets in, but because I laugh because it happens so often, and it's like everyone does it. But it happens so that your old program can come in, so you can clear it out again, so you can learn to repattern, so you can learn to maintain that state of love and trust. You cannot be in love and trust and in fear at the same time. It just doesn't happen. So start to notice when you're in one or the other. It's really two things that we're dealing with. And from those two things spawn the polarities, the imbalanced polarities. So let's look at that, okay? This is like a big lesson. I don't know, I just feel guided to teach this. So when you're in a fear-based place, you're either going to be in an imbalanced feminine or a false masculine energy, okay? That's when you're in a fear-based place, when your feelings and your thoughts are coming from fear. When you're in a state of trust and love, you're going to be able to maintain your power. Your polarities are going to be balanced. Okay? So it's the same thing. There's really just two dynamics in this whole process. It's trust, the state being in the vibration of love, which is trust. Trusting your intuition, trusting everything's in divine order, trusting that things are working out as they should, trusting that the timing will come around, trusting that the separation is meant to be, trusting that everything's working out as it should, just trusting. And that trusting is enabling you to stay in a high vibration. Okay, but when we go over to fear, then we're worrying, then we're blaming, then we're distrusting, then we're judging, then we're hanging on to attachment timelines, and we're getting pulled lower and lower and lower and lower. See what I'm saying? And that also causes us to react from that low place, which is imbalanced polarities. Either you're acting in a very, like what I always say is like a subdued feminine way, which is like doormat, submissive, not in your power, not in your voice, or you're acting in a false masculine, too forceful, too aggressive, manipulative, controlling, angry, like all of those things that show up. That's all coming from fear. Okay? So I don't know if you've heard it explained that way before, but I just want to make that complete distinction to you. There's trust and being in a state of love, and then there's fear. And that is actually sums up this entire experience. Because once you can move all your fear-based stuff over to the trust and love, you will come into union with yourself. You will be able to hold space. You will be able to attract your twin and even come into union with your twin flame. It's not that hard to understand it conceptually. It's a really easy concept. The problem is that not all the teachers out there are actually teaching you how to clear these blocks of fear. Okay, we cannot throw affirmation band-aids on things and think that they're going to get better. Oh, well, I'll just go do my yoga, or I'll just go put an affirmation band-aid on my, on that little cut that I have that doesn't feel so good right now. Or like, oh, that affirmation made me feel so good for about 30 seconds. It's like it's a band-aid. It doesn't stick. We've got to do our work at the deeper level and learn the tools that help us shift, right, to stay in the higher vibration so that you can stay in unconnected or unattached connection and always trust it. This will help you navigate through deaths in your life. because you're going to be in a state of trust with that, with the natural cycles of life and death. Even with loved ones, you're going to be able to trust that more. You're going to be able to work through grief better. You're going to, these separations teach you a lot. And being able to master this concept of staying in a state of trust, or, aligning with your power. The trust is all about aligning with your power, being in unconditional love with yourself, being in self-love, trusting your intuition. Like that place is where you're trusting everything. And in that place, everything can flow to you. You're going to attract things, not repel them. Fear, you're just going to attract more of your fear. You're going to repel your twin flame. Okay? And so, like I said, even talking about other relationships in your life, those are going to start to heal when you're over here. And all of these that you're like, oh, yeah, that's toxic, I'm letting that go, or whatever that is, like, oh, I can't be around this person because they irk me, or, okay, so that makes sense, because while you're doing your work, you've got to be, you've got to put yourself in an energetic vibration where you're not being constantly pulled down. So if you need to pull away from toxic energies, toxic people, that makes sense. But what you have to understand is that once you're in this state over here, once you get there and you're able to maintain it for a bit and know how to align with unconditional love and stay in a state of trust and in your power, you'll be able to be around anyone and not get thrown off whatsoever. Not your twin flame, not your mother, not your arch nemesis, okay? You're going to be able to hold it and maintain it. So I hope that that's helpful explanation. I just felt guided to share that with everyone. And if anyone needs assistance in, learning those tools and clearing out the blocks, please reach out to me, because this is what I'm here for. And you can read the testimonials, and I can put you in touch with my current clients, past clients, because they'll tell you it works. It actually works. My clients are flying high on their missions. So many of them I'm so proud of, and just reaching the next levels in their journeys. And they don't need me anymore. They're developing their own practices and their own healing, and they've made rapid progress in like a matter of a year, less than a year. It's amazing. And I don't mean it like that they don't need me anymore, because we know that we develop soul friendships and we stay in touch, and it's an amazing, amazing journey, this journey. So if it feels anything less than beautiful for you, I can help you get to that place of more joy and more beauty. So don't hesitate to reach out. I look forward to hearing from you. Hope that was helpful. I'll talk to you guys all soon. Happy spring. Bye.